welcome to where the furniture isn't always the best, but them views, they are amazing.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 13th floor, where the furniture isn't always the best and the views are amazing. If you didn't know, you are tuned into the show where we bring the thoughts and opinions of the Black male to the forefront. And we also present you with those things that are not supposed to exist, like the successful Black male, like the successful Black father. All of these things we bring you right here on the 13th floor. And we encourage you to keep tuning in week after week. And we really hope that you all had a great Thanksgiving. We'll talk to you a little bit about our Thanksgivings in a moment. But before I move forward, I just want to remind you where you can get this podcast. You can get it on Google Play, iTunes, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio.
Everywhere, baby. I gotta take over Ian's spot now since we precious by like we everywhere.
Everywhere, right. We definitely want to highlight for our YouTube listeners,
Yes.
That's where you get the full experience. It is one thing just to hear our voices. It is a different thing to totally see our faces in the interaction. So you can find us there at the 13th floor on YouTube, and definitely subscribe and comment and shout out to all of our consistent viewers.
Yes.
You know who you are. I'm not going to shout you out by name, but definitely Mama Jones, where you been?
Yeah, man.
She's been listening. She sent me text. Great episode. I'm caught up. Well, I got behind. I caught up today. So I don't think she'll be commenting on the page though.
Okay. Right. I love seeing it though. I love seeing her comment there and just being able to give her a nice little heart.
So you heard that moment. That's not from me. That's from the tribe.
Yes,
exactly.
We do. We listen. We watch. We wait for all the comments. Everyone on here too. If you are on YouTube, if you had not done so already, please click the subscribe button if you're new to this, or if you're a long-term listener, or if you just hit the like button, man. Like, share it with somebody, one friend. We ask you to do that. 2021 was a great year. We want 2022 to be the year that this channel gets shared with many more people and get many more views, so that everyone else can understand and see a successful Black man, successful Black husband, successful Black father do great things on the channel. So please.
Exactly. And that's Mama Jones Gant. I don't want to call you by your right name. I don't want to get in trouble when I see you. So fellas, how was Thanksgiving? Let's talk about that. You already heard both of them. I'm here with Faison. I'm here with BJ, Mr. Logistics, and we're just hanging out. We have no idea where our other two guys are. So you may see us post some things on social media about them missing in action, but hopefully they're out there safe.
Yes, sir.
Fresh is that season for him. It's that season of weight gain and weight loss for him. This is the time of year where he, 1 week he's good, the next week he's down with some type of health bug. But anyway, we hope the fellows are good.
Yes, sir.
Just still recovering from all that Thanksgiving food. But how was it, guys? I know, well, Faison, I know where you were.
Yes, I would gladly go first. Now I will talk about, and we probably need to post. We should have posted that turkey of yours, because that was the highlight of my Thanksgiving. I am traditional guy, like the used to the turkey being baked, filled with gravy, used to the general macaroni and cheese, the cornbread, the greens. I'm not a big fan of black eyed peas. I'll eat them. I'm not a big fan of them. But this year, ooh, man, that turkey turned me on to actually wanting to have turkey as a regular meal. Because normally you're like, turkey, there's a reason why it's a once a year thing. Because of how it's being made and baked and dry, and you don't even want leftovers. You're just like, nah, I'm good. But I have turkey still left over from Thanksgiving, and I'm currently right now in Tampa. I will go home and I will still eat that turkey because it doesn't matter if they're bad or not. That it was some good turkey, juicy, smoked perfectly. That made it, man. That made it. And we didn't even have cranberry sauce. And I'm an avid cranberry gelled, ocean spray gelled cranberry guy. And the family threw out some handmade cranberry sauce, was really good. Still wasn't my normal Thanksgiving cut up the cranberry sauce thing, but if I don't, again, we gotta post a picture of that bird. If you're not posted already, if Ian didn't drop it in here at some point in time, check on social media, because that GD bird was amazing. Amazing. And I'm giving you all kinds of kudos, Kay, because I know you put your foot in that thing and you made it work. Well worth it. And I made ham, and I love my ham, and it was amazing for that. But no, bird took the cake. 100%.
Yeah, I showed the bird to my uncles, and I told them I tried to get them under the smoking tip. They don't really smoke meats. We talk about we don't
Yeah.
Let me be clear what we talk about.
Right.
that could have took a turn for the worse right there. But I showed the bird, they were like, damn. So uncles are we're looking like, okay, we got to do it. Put them on to and try to do something new next year.
Yeah, that's hilarious because for one, once again, if you all didn't catch the last 2 episodes, shout out to Shiznit Kitchen.
Yes.
Shout out to the Palmer Collection.
Yes.
The turkey outside of the smoker and getting the right wood and everything, spatchcocking it. All the seasonings and even the glaze that were used came from Shiznit Kitchen and Palmer Collection.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to those guys, and of course I collabed with them as far as what their thoughts were. This was my first time injecting a turkey. I actually did a injection that was Shiznit Kitchen jerk seasoning, with some butter, and Dre had recommended some chicken stock, not to be confused with chicken broth. There is a difference. Everything worked out well. I mean, the wood I use is definitely responsible for the color of the turkey, like the color it came out. But collaborating with those guys, we also ended up with an awesome product. So for those of you that didn't catch the last 2 episodes, definitely go check those out. There's much more holidays to come, and they definitely made some great recipe recommendations and even leftover recommendations for those of you that are still taking chances with leftovers. But yes, we should have had the
recipe from Wendy was used prior to. It was a slight variation of the Thanksgiving meal afterwards.
Yes.
Fire. Go back. I'm not even going to tell you what it was. If you're listening on your ear or watching us, go back.
I remember.
Go back and figure out what it was. But it was fire.
Yeah. Everything we talked about that we actually tried was great. And I can't wait for Christmas because obviously, we'll do a Kadayo and Faison collab again, but we'll see what's going to be done that time, and obviously we'll share that. But BJ, I know you traveled for Thanksgiving, went up to the family in Carolina, so I don't know if it's north or south, so that's why I just said Carolina.
Don't disrespect.
South Carolina, baby.
South Carolina. That's what's up. That's what's up. How was that, man?
Man, it was just good to be around family again. I realized in planning that it had been 3 Thanksgivings ago since we had been there. And then with everything going on the past couple of years, it really just hadn't had the ability to get there and keep everybody safe. Because that part of South Carolina, up and down Hampton County, Beaufort, Embassy, just north of Hilton Head, Lily is once you cross over the Georgia border, like we stayed really right at the Savannah Airport. Our hotel was on the same strip as Savannah Airport. And we just drove into South Carolina every day. And we did that again, trying to keep everybody safe. We had to travel through Florida, talk of this new variant out, but we still wanted to go. Like, look, let's just book a hotel, keep more people safe. But for us, it really was just a chance to get away and see that family we haven't seen in years. My dad's side of the family is huge. Left, I have 11 out of 14 aunts and uncles.
Ooh,
I saw 9 of the 11 because the other 2 weren't even in town. They don't live in South Carolina, but I saw 9 out of 11. And it was just good to be around that family again, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I saw some pictures and I saw some cows,
Yes, sir.
and it was really cool because I was able to show Asher a cow actually making sound, and he got to see that it really is close to moo,
Yeah.
which was good. But what was that experience like for the kids? You know, I know they've been there before, but they're a little bit older now. They can have different impressions on them as far as here's this farmland that we get to see and animals and like people actually growing stuff in the dirt in the ground and having
So
their own.
it's great to see, and my heart was happy because first of all, I knew we were going to go, but they've been asking when we're going back to South Carolina for the last probably year.
Oh wow, okay.
And we just had like, when are we going? When are we going? So take it there. So I know a while back I talked about their 13-year-old trips. Like they can pick where they want to go. We talked about it in detail. I forget which episode that was. But Madison wanted to go to New York to watch the Macy's Day Parade for Thanksgiving. When the idea of coming to South Carolina, it's like, nah, we'll go next year. I'm going to South Carolina. Like,
she messed up. She messed up because this year was warm. Next year's gonna be cold.
but you know, but that's, they've been asking to go, and when they have the opportunity to go just to see family be there, they love it. Again, my family literally lives on. So the road is actually named after not Jones, it's Sinclair, the Sinclair Road. So it's still part of the family. So the road is named after family history if you go back to family tree. But literally, everybody lives on the same road. The plot of land where the cows are at, literally back there is where the old house where all the kids were born at, even though the house is not there no more.
That's awesome, man.
That whole area was where they farmed everything from watermelon, cotton, I can't even think right now, soybean. Like,
I
you
need to
name
think
it.
of something else because you I mean you immediately thought of the
Right, all the black
watermelon
stuff.
and cotton.
So, but I say that to the point
They
because
sold it though.
That land has been in my family for years. It really traced back to literally after. It's a plantation. It's an old plantation. So those were the crops, and those were crops that my dad and them grew up farming and raising, and pretty much out in the fields day and night, all year round.
Wow.
So it's crazy to see and think about all the stuff, all the history that's there, and they want to be there. They get out there and they got on my uncle's golf cart, and they pretty much drove around the golf cart like for days. Like Cameron, that boy, I don't know.
That's so awesome. That's a big deal to have that and to have that land there and to be able to look back at history for that whole thing, but then also see that land is value. And I'm sure the land has massive value that they haven't probably done any assessments on. But but I'm sure because the fact that your family kept that in there, there are probably families all through that same area that's flipped it or rotated or let it go because some bad person didn't care about this. And
just down the road.
I'd rather let it go than give it to someone in the family, that whole old school mentality thinking. But you guys didn't. And it's
right
there.
Down the street, right down the road, the same road, just a little bit past my grandfather's old house. There's about 6-7 new trailers down that way. I don't even know who the people are, and they popped up in the last couple of years. Like that, the land is gone now. So
Wow.
I mean, but it's trying to keep that intact. Like now that after my grandfather passed, each of the 13 have their own plot of land. So my sister and I, we decided like we're gonna do something. So I will be putting something on our land very, very soon. So
nice. You're gonna build a little house. Something.
Yeah, we'll have a place to go, to retreat, to relax, refresh. Y'all want to go hunting? Y'all want to just go out and chill? Y'all want to just go up, get away with family, whatever? Like that, my uncles do all that. They went deer hunting while we were there. So,
wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
we can show them how to smoke something.
Right.
And for the first time, so we went by. I always go by my grandparents' gravesite when I can.
Good. Yeah.
But all the way around the old church, which the church is still there, but I say the old church there literally is the old church. They just kind of remodeled and refaced everything. Where it's like you walk out of the church cemetery right there, that type of old country feel.
Yeah.
Like literally next door is cotton field. So we have to sit and talk. The kids, they didn't pick cotton. They put, I don't want to say it like that because I didn't have to pick cotton. I don't want nobody to take that away. But they wanted to at least see
They plucked
what
a piece of cotton.
Right.
Yes. They wanted to see like this is really where cotton comes from. Like they've heard about it, but they've never seen it like on the bush in the ground. Like, so we got to have that conversation and travel some back roads and talk about some of the stuff back there. So man, it was good. It was good. It was just
great,
great.
man.
One aunt I hadn't seen since my uncle's funeral in 2008, who lived, like everybody's family got issues.
Mm-hmm.
She hasn't even been around. Like she's never met the kids and Gina. So
oh wow.
She just hasn't been around. She lived literally 15, 20 minutes away from there, right there where we go. But she came around this time, so it just like, so I just caught myself just sitting next to her for like 20 minutes straight, not saying a word. Like I didn't even realize I was doing it.
Wow.
It was just one of those moments where like, I'm glad we came. I'm glad I had this experience. I'm glad I had this time. Just thankful for the opportunity because the last year has been rough. And
man, I'm kind of jealous to have that. I was just speaking to somebody. I would probably say I was talking to somebody a couple of days ago, and we were talking about the family effect and having somebody like knowing your history and going back, and how I'm going to keep going back to my grandma because she refuses to tell me who's past her. She told me multiple times, I don't want to get into that. I don't really care about that. I'll tell you later on. No, I don't want to talk about it. So I don't know where my history, I know it's North Carolina. I know it's somewhere in there. I know we have a Faison. You guys have seen the Faison pictures. So there's a whole town of Faison, like literally a town called Faison in North Carolina. So that's there, but I don't know if that's tied with me or that's just a happening that's where it came from, whatever. But the fact that you have that and they literally can go back and say, here's some roots. Like you can go back there for a couple of weeks and plant something. You can plant a tree that you can come back and they can show their kids in 30 years. This is the tree I planted when you were born because this is our land. Like, this is your tree. Here is your tag. The tree has grown so many high. Like that's the stuff that I wanted to do. And I wanted to do that when I was in Wayne at my in-laws' house and plant a tree for Nambi Arenze and just plant a tree there. That's his property. He's not ever going to sell it, but plant that tree there and let it grow over years. So he can say, when you were born, this is how small it was. And now you're 18, you're 22, you're 30. You had that opportunity. So if you have not done so, or you haven't, when you go back and you get the land you want to build, plant something there for each one of them and just let it grow over time so they can go back and say, and start a tradition maybe that they can come back and plant something else next to that grows and just doesn't, it needs to be a good enough tree where it won't destroy the land, but do something like that where they can see that. That's just awesome.
Already it works. And the beauty of it is that, again, talking to my mom about it, talking to my sister about it, really is, it's in my sister and my name now because my father passed away. But the fact that everybody, and my aunt, one of mine said something that really got me though. She said, my grandfather passed away January 4th, 2001. And by that time, a lot of people had left. I had family in Jersey and in Philly, all over the place, down in South Carolina, like all over the place, North Carolina, all over. Again, there was 13 of them. So a lot of them stayed close within maybe a 20, 30-minute drive, but a lot of people left too. But she said, my grandfather said, before he passed away, he's like, don't worry, everybody will be back home. This is going to take some time. It may not be this generation, but everybody will be back.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that for me, that just solidified it. That, yeah, once we get that back, that's going to happen. And for real, for me, is really that it's going to be the kids, it's going to be in their name. They always have a place to go. Nice. My family's not going, their family's not going nowhere. If something happens in the world, you can go to South Carolina. Something happens in your life, go to South Carolina. Family's gonna look out for you, family's gonna protect you. Something happens that we can't communicate, I'll meet you in South Carolina.
There you go.
And for me, that's more precious than anything else. So.
Look into putting that land or property into I'm sure you already thought about this, but into a trust. So when you pass it down, it doesn't. They're going to pay those fees because they're going to assess that property land. They're going to be like, yeah, give us this amount of taxes or we're taking it, and they're equipped to do that.
I got you.
Yeah. That's really cool, man. The whole time I'm sitting there thinking there's a lot of people out that they're waiting for Black Friday or something to buy the 23andMe kit or, get the 10% off of African ancestry, which still makes it the most expensive one out of all of them. But you can just go home to South Carolina and
Right.
find out a lot about your family.
Blessed.
Which is awesome. And Art, you're talking about the plant something, and that's how it is when I go back to my grandmother's house. Like, I see these huge like avocado trees or something that I can be like, oh, I remember going to Home Depot. We took the bus, bought it, got back on the bus, and walked home with that thing in a little pot. and now it's huge, and still yielding avocados from it, or whether it was the mango tree, all the citrus trees they got rid of because of
that citrus virus that came through.
That citrus virus that got rid of everybody's citrus. So now you're forced to go to the grocery store to go buy citrus, but that's a whole nother story. We'll save that. It's funny because that story is very similar to what's going on with people now. It's interesting. Almost. Anyway, we won't do that because we want this to be able to play.
Right, we don't want to get flagged again on Facebook.
Right. But man, that's so powerful. And coming or still being in a pandemic, I think this was a year that people realized what was important, because last year you were still kind of scared to get together, so you didn't do it, or a lot of virtual gatherings. And I think this was one time where people actually got together and really expressed what they were thankful for, which was those family bonds, those friendship bonds. And I think that was so powerful this year, no matter where it happened.
Definitely.
I really want to see where people go next. What are people going to do next? How are people going to move forward? Because you would think that this holiday time would have a different impact and a different feel. But that commercial piece of it is still there, kind of pushing. I can't wait to see what the actual Black Friday, revenue looks like. They always put those numbers out every year. It'd be interesting to see if that was lower than previous years or if it was higher. I know for, some industries, the pandemic blew those industries up.
The
automotive industry is crazy, even though, new cars are stuck on, parts are stuck in ships. That's another thing. Why are these ships stuck?
I can tell you why the ship's stuck. Okay, because I watched a documentary on that the other day.
Please tell me where these ships are.
They're on the coast of California. And the reason why they're coast of California is because, one, there's blame being passed from the drivers to the people at the shipping yards, to the actual major companies, the Myers or Mayors, who actually has the bulk of the actual containers. Those containers are now being overly taxed and charged to the people at the ports. So they're paying more for the containers. But it all starts with the fact that the drivers can't bring back, or when they try to bring back the empty containers, there's nowhere to place them.
Do me a quick favor. Your mic is rubbing.
Am I too low?
Okay,
my beard.
Your mic is rubbing on your beard.
Thank you. I'm trying to grow it. So what was I going to say? The shipping containers, they are the ones that are coming back empty from the drivers have nowhere to go. So the drivers are spending 3 or 4 to 8 hours sitting in line to bring back empty containers and being told there's no space. So drivers don't want to go now to the ports, and that just built up. So there's empty containers sitting on those the holders that will be put to take away. They're all empty. So the cycle has begun to happen where it started there, and then now it's all sitting online. It's not of drivers who want to actually drive it. So the driving shortage happened 3 years ago, it was already starting a process. And
Yes.
it now all rolled forward. So all that stuff started going in, and now where we are now, we're just sitting on a porch waiting for something to come in to take them off. That's why it's so delayed, because there's limited drivers with limited space, because they're stuck with their trailers. They can't lay them on the ground. They got to put them on those special holders, and they can't get it off. So it's a weird cycle, but CNBC did a good whole 15-minute episode on what's happening there. And that's the summation of that 15-minute video.
Interesting.
That's interesting. That sounds like an easy problem to fix to me.
It does. It does. It's all about, it's pride is the big deal for most of them, because someone doesn't want to just take the L for a second to get things fixed. And the government cannot help, because that is private property on private things, and it's in the ocean, which is technically like not owned. It's weird how they said it, like, but the government can't say go do this. Like, they don't have the authority to say, here we'll give you this. So I don't know what's going on with it, but it seems weird. It seems very strange.
On YouTube, it was worth being on there so you can see BJ's face when the government can't do this because it's not their property. That's going to go back to that thing I didn't want to talk about earlier.
But don't do it. Don't.
Need to do. The other thing I will say is, I will say this popular meme that's been out recently. You can decide that we're going to change the time, but you're going to tell me that you can't go out there and tell people what to do with these containers, right? You can change the time, but you can't do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Every situation benefits somebody.
Yep.
Follow the money.
Dude, the same thing with the oil. I listen. I like to just understand what's happening out there, and learning about the oil pipelines and how that whole thing works. Wow, that's a whole nother conversation we can go into for a good 30 minutes on the oil line.
That is a whole nother conversation. If you remember, 2, maybe 3 years ago, we started tapping into our own oil reserves that we never tapped. And discovered, we don't have to depend on all these other sources.
Right.
What happened?
Right. Exactly. They lowered their prices and we stopped. And they went back up again.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, somebody, anyway, so many places we could go with this right now. We're going to control what we
What's your line, Kay? I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just a theorist.
The theorist.
That's right. I'm just a theorist. Anyway, listen. How's the rest of the holiday shopping going? Let's talk about that.
I haven't done any this year. I lied. I got all the kids stuff out of the way. And when I say kids, I mean all my god kids, my nephew, got all my way. I gotta send some stuff your way to my niece and nephew over there. I haven't sent anything to them in a while, so we gotta talk, BJ. All the sides.
So his niece and nephew over there, for those of you that know us, he was talking about BJ.
BJ, yes. Asher is covered. Asher is in my immediate.
For all those people that are listening and not seeing.
Right, exactly.
Right.
When I go to buy things for the boys for Christmas, I always purposely go, all right, what can I get for Asher that is quite similar to make it easy? So there's not he got this, I got that, or at least in the same frame. So if I buy Incredible Hulk, I buy Black Panther, and I buy Spider-Man. Everyone has their own thing, so it's good. So I didn't do much. They got some really good deals out there on pre-Black Friday and then Black Friday, but I didn't go too hard. Did a lot of cool things. I was buying stuff at Thanksgiving when we're sitting down trying to hit that stuff real quick. But based upon what I've seen and heard from my other ownership partners, there was a lot of people in stores. They were in stores this time around. Like, there was not a lot of online stuff. People were actually walking to the mall. So earlier you mentioned you wondered what was going on. People were walking in malls and they were buying things and doing things and carrying stuff out. So it was a big spike in store. People wanted to get out. They had a chance to actually touch stuff. So they did it.
Yeah, I'm not there yet. I did something yesterday for Cyber Monday. I don't know what's going on with Art right now, chewing the cord, but
oh, sorry. That's a habit. It's there, so
I was trying
Yes.
to keep on talking, but I couldn't do it. So. But yeah, I hit up some things yesterday just because there were some certain things that, like, you get bundles and stuff, and certain gifts you're looking for. They like threw some extra stuff in for the Cyber Monday deal. So made a couple things, but again, for our kids are getting older now, so a lot of the stuff is, first of all, they get more expensive because their taste is grander. But a lot of it is they like to go get stuff on their own now. So a lot of it really is like we look for a couple things that they can open, but here's the money. You want clothes? Here's a gift card to that store you want.
Got it.
Here's cash to put in your card, and just I'll take you out shopping afterwards or whatever everyone. So a lot of it has shifted that way now, especially with them thinking about sizes and how stuff fit. I don't like taking stuff back. That's my biggest thing. So if it's like clothes and I gotta go back after it, no, we'll just wait and take you all together.
Yeah. You know what? I'm the guy who likes to go shop. First of all, I like to go Black Friday shopping and not buy anything. Like I'll go to the Best Buys, I go to the Macy's and just people watch. Go to the mall and just go to Auntie Anne's and just get some pretzels to walk around the mall and see the chaos. I enjoy that vibe. I've always enjoyed that as a kid. Just, it was always cool for me to do. But I'm also the guy who likes to go shopping for Christmas stuff on the 26th because everything is like 80% off. So I prepare my next year's Christmas decorations on this year's purchase at Christmas. So, but I'm debating about getting professionally done going forward or doing it myself. I'm on that cusp now. I want the boys to have a nice thing, and the townhouse is a little tough to get on the top. It's some empty holes I want to fill, and I'm not climbing on ladders. So we'll see.
Don't call me for help with that. What I will say is, after working in retail for so long, you understand what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. And Black Friday sales are one of those things that doesn't make sense to me.
Don't make sense at all.
If people really thought about it, and at some point you got to realize retailers will mark up to mark down. And are you really getting a sale? And a lot of retailers will make a good percentage of their yearly revenue in the holiday season. And when you think about that, okay, sure, maybe the volume of items that are being sold goes up, but I guarantee you it doesn't go up that much that it actually still covers the revenue they needed to make versus the discounts that they were providing. So anyway,
I think about it. That's the term Black Friday. Where does it come from? Like that when stores, retailers got into the black, they were out of the red and into the black. That's not by chance. So again, how can retailers get into black on the positive side if they're giving all these discounts?
If they're giving all these discounts.
If it doesn't make sense. So people like I worked in the mall all those years in high school. I don't ever want to go Black Friday shopping in my life. I don't want to go to a clothes store. I'll go any other day. The day after Thanksgiving, y'all can have all that. Fire me. I ain't coming in.
I tell you what, mine was I worked at the movie theater.
That was when movies were people would actually go to movies on Thanksgiving weekend. They actually would go to
We used to go Thanksgiving night.
And Christmas.
And Christmas,
Yep.
And I got home, there was nothing else to do. Thanksgiving night, like that 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock midnight show. We'd be out in 2 or 3 that night.
Yep.
I agree.
Anyway, good times. I was gonna go somewhere, man, and I promise you I don't even remember where it was. I don't even remember where it was. And you know what? That's a sign, ladies and gentlemen. That's a sign that we don't need to go anywhere else. It is time for us to bid you adieu. But before we do that, I am going to come to Faison for Faison's Corner. Is it Faison's Corner or Art's Corner? I don't know what
Faison's Corner. Yeah,
it's your corner though.
Yeah, for sure. So let's see. How do I want to play this role this time around? Listen, I'm trying to think about and I'm going to lead this into something for the future about the dangling carrot, and we're going to talk about how this is going to work in the future for us. So the dangling carrot mindset, you're told something. You're told that, hey, I'm going to, or you're going to get this if you do this, or give us time and you'll get this. You have to now think to yourself, is that time worth what is going? We're all in situations where some of us need financially to move forward. Some of us need time to get out of that position or that role. Some need time with our family. You have to find the right thing for you to make that work and make it work for you. So the dangling carrot theory is, it's not always promised. It can happen, but you can set yourself up to make it happen on your own terms and not wait for someone to dangle the carrot in front of you to make you move better or work harder. I'm going to leave it there. We're going to continue on this process for us, and we're going to run this whole month on this process, but it's a lot to unpack. And I know we've all been there throughout our career, through our life, through relationships. So we're going to dig deep into that over the next couple of weeks, and hopefully by New Year, you can see what your carrot was or is and adjust based upon your next moves.
Facts. And you are right. We will pick up there next week. In the meantime, I want people to think there is a psychological studied reason to the time of year that bonuses and raises are given out. Please think about that before you hear us next week, and understand, for those of you that are like me, if you've ever went and tried to give reason for a raise in the middle of the year, you will always get told, oh, well, now is not the time for that. Well, why is that? Is it not the same money? Are we not going to spend the same money? But anyway, we'll get deeper into that next week. We're looking forward to that. BJ, you know how it is when, it's down to three of us, and, I
got you.
We give you the opportunity, to take the stage.
Yes, yeah. So my biggest thing, and again, stop wasting time when it comes to people that you love. Again, I was blessed this time to be able to see, again, like I said, 9 out of my 11 living aunts and uncles on my dad's side. And again, the 2 just because they don't live in the area and didn't travel down. But out of those 9, again, I thank God I was able to see them and spend time with them. And the kids were able to spend time with them and ask them questions and get some more family history and build the family tree with cousins and who was what level, whatever. But so many years have been wasted. When I sat back and realized that my oldest is 15 now, that means Gina and I have been together for 16 years. So that's 16 years that they did not know some of these people, right? And a lot of that had nothing to do with me. It's that generation above us that has their pitfalls, right? So, well, who carried the burden of that? All the first cousins, all of us did. And there's even separation there. So, look, I don't care. Like I tell people, when I come to South Carolina, I don't come to get in the mess. I don't care about what happened in the past. I come to see everybody. And the sad part, I was talking to Gina about it, most of my aunts and uncles that were there live in that area now. That wouldn't have happened if we weren't there. A couple of people would have been around, maybe 4 or 5 of them, but the 9 of them all together at one time wouldn't have happened. I'm glad that it did, but I'm just hoping and praying that from this day forward, there's more opportunity that they'll take their own initiative. But reach out to that person you haven't talked to a while. I don't care. Sometimes we don't even know what we're mad about anymore. We don't even know why we're holding grudges or why we're keeping people away. But people need to know their family. They need to know where they came from. Yeah, not everything's all unicorns, rainbows, and sunshine. But I know that the family loves each other, right? So we just need to keep those connections tight, because at the end of the day, I got y'all on this call and on this podcast, and I got my family. I'm cool with a lot of people, but they don't know me like that. So that blood family, I need to keep intact. So it's just a reminder this weekend that keep us, like, stop letting grudges. Call that person, reach out to them. If they're on your mind, call them. There's a reason why they're on your mind. I don't care what happened. If it happened this year, if it happened 10 years ago, reach out, call them. I'm not even saying you got to apologize. Check on them just so you can hear their voice, they can hear your voice, and keep things moving. Life is too short. We lost my dad and another uncle, and a stepbrother, in that process. And God forbid, like, I guess the realization was I'm 40 this year, so my oldest aunt now is 73. Like, when I say it out loud, that's not a huge gap. That means my youngest aunt, the youngest of them, was only 10 when I was born. So when I started doing the math, I'm like, hold up, why are we doing that? Like, it doesn't make sense. And people aren't getting younger. And with this pandemic out here, who knows when somebody may be gone. So this time is precious. Use it wisely. Check up on people. Call from I don't care if they don't respond to you. You do your part. Call it. Reach out to them, and let the chips fall where they may. You may be surprised.
Woo. I hope y'all took notes. If you didn't, please rewind and jot down some things for the future of your family, for the future of the best representation of your bloodline. There was a lot that was just said, and we're actually going to make sure that we spend the rest of this year talking about what's important, what's priority, and building the energy that you want to go into the next year. Don't wait until January 1st. I think we've told you guys this every year for the last almost 5 years. Don't wait until January 1st. And if you really want to do something different, go in prioritizing something than what you would normally prioritize. We know at this point, it's not about money. Money's going to come and go. We don't even know at this point. Is the dollar going to be the thing of the future? Or is it going to be Bitcoin or cryptocurrency? Like, what's it going to be? We don't even know. And you see people out there making moves and you're like, man, should I be making a move too? Listen, I will tell you, I am sitting here hoping that one of these guys blesses me and just tells me, Kay, make this move, because it's so foreign to me that I don't know. But what I do know is I don't care what the currency is. That's not the most important thing. Can I get my family together? Can I get our familial bonds together? Can I get prioritizing myself together? Prioritizing my loved ones and family. These are the things that you will hear us talk about in the next few episodes. We'll talk about what it means to us, hopefully what it means to you. And that's it. We just want our 13th floor family to not just survive, but to thrive. And we want you all to thrive for the right reasons and plant those seeds so that you too can have your own farm that nets you the best things possible. That's our show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us here on the 13th floor, where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views, they are amazing.
Amazing.
It's the 13th floor, y'all.